Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of On the Paint Table. It's my weekly show where you see what I got done, what I'm working on, and what is coming up. As well as now, what is going. I have got to make more space in the studio. Some things are changing in August. And not only does stuff have to go, I need to make some changes at GMG. So one of the things I'm going to be doing is getting rid of a whole bunch of my painted armies to make room to paint some of the stuff I've got that needs to get painted, because I have piles of stuff that needs to get done. And if I'm going to keep doing this, I need to be able to breathe. So this week I got some models on the paint table for Battletech and for Warhammer 40,000 that are going. I painted some stuff for The Last War, some beautiful Knucklebones miniatures, and I got some stuff ready to rock and roll for Infinity. So let's take a look at what got done and what is coming up. So first things first, here is my, I guess, grim-dark excursion into painting some Knucklebone stuff, doing some conversions, and generally getting ready for the excellent indie game Forbidden Psalm Last War, which premiered on Tuesday, and you guys watched the first episode of the Let's Play of. So you've already seen these miniatures if you watched that game, otherwise, here they are now. These are all resins from Knucklebones. Knucklebones is a wonderful miniature company, just one guy named Matt, who does like grim dark accessory kits. These are actually all posable. They have separate heads and arms. You can see I actually used some of these bodies. It's basically bodies, arms, and heads. Lots of varieties in like a grimy trench crusade sort of trench war sort of World War I, evil aesthetic. I love the horror movie vibes. I love the miniatures, and it was perfect for Last War. They're all done with that in mind. So I painted up this my officer. His name is Redacted, so he doesn't actually have a name. In fact, he's so basically like forgetful and brain damaged from having survived this like apocalyptic end war that he doesn't know where he is half the time, and he loses stuff. My two sort of like bruisers, one with a rusted old musket and the other one with a trench club. Then I also painted up this little fella right here. His name's Putnik Red. He's got like a homemade like ballistic vest and then some automatic pistols, little SMGs that have bayonets on them. My flamethrower, it's Aircraft Mechanic 80, or Air Mechanic 80. He's just using old aircraft fuel drums, old avgas as a flamethrower. These put together with like a Tiger Torch here. They actually use these kinds of things for de-icing planes. In the old days, they would have a large sort of like miniature flamethrower called a Tiger Torch that they would burn ice off things with, and they still use them up north quite a bit. And this is one of his Rogue Trader-esque minis, but I love the look of it, so it's my auto rifle guy that I painted up. It's like an Ian Miller style like space adventure that I painted up. The paint for all of these was just a like brown base coat, over which I did the green. So it's a brown airbrush base coat. I airbrushed on a bit of Imperial Hobbies, like I think it's like uniform green, and then put like a touch of beige in it just to lighten it up. Last was Tannenberg, my pony. He's so cool. He's a pony in a gas mask. He carries all their stuff, and you can actually have pets in the game too, or like animals. So you can have cats even, or dogs, but I have a pony for carrying all my things, which is pretty cool. Some of these are like body swaps. You get 5 guys in the game, and the idea was I'd have extra bodies to switch out gear and stuff as I changed and leveled up and found things. Now, most of this was done with like washes. The base tone, or the bases, are Sterling Battlemire with some, I think, Rattling Grime washed onto it to darken it up in the center, and then dry brushed with some grays. The metallics are all scale 75, black metal with some, like, again, Rattling Grime on them, and a bit of like Milne Oil. And the browns are all Mornifying Brown. So yeah, it's so fun, so easy to paint, and I love these miniatures. Great job, Matt. I'll link all of his stuff in the video description. Then I painted up a couple more Knucklebones minis, and I also converted some stuff up here. So these are bad guys, like trench horrors. I got some mud ghouls in the back there. They're the same bodies as the rest of the infantry, but I used plastic heads and arms from the Cultist sprue for Frostgrave. My barbed wire horrors were like reanimated bodies that were caught in barbed wire. Very Death Watch, if you've ever seen it. It's Andy Serkis in Death Watch. Great 2002 World War I horror movie if you've never seen it, which was on heavy rotation while I painted all this stuff, actually. I think they're Nolzers. They're like plastic, like D&D figs. And I wrapped them in some old GW City Base and Kit barbed wire that I still had, because I'm a hoarder and I have everything. that I had 20 years ago still somehow. And then finally, these guys are called the Pathetic. They're basically like mutant soldiers that have just gotten weirder and weirder. So one of them's got like these weird like growths on him, and he's got like a diver. I'm just calling him the Frogman because he kind of looks like a frog, and so he's got his like Frogman's mask and then all these weird growths. And then the other guy here, he's just, he was going to be my pack mule originally. He was just this huge guy who'd like sprouted growths. But I ended up making him a Pathetic instead because I got the actual pack mule mini. And then I sculpted some objectives and then painted some objectives. The little like ossuary is actually one of Matt's. The nurse who you have to rescue in one of the missions is the, I think the Damsel in Distress mini from the Mantic Fantasy terrain set. And I made myself some objectives that are trench grubs, like baby trench grubs, because there are giant trench grubs that these grow into, but they're basically feeding on all the corpses. And the idea is that they just eat everything, right? They consume the corpse. And so they're full of treasure. So my objective markers, I wanted this to all be weird, right? So I made like bloody grubs. It's very like survival horror game to crush a grub and then get like something out from inside of it. So those are my objective markers for the game. The trench itself, Matt made. He did a bunch of like hobbying, and these are they're super simply done. The accessories I think he actually designed and printed. So I think these are 3D printed, like the duck boarding that's along the edges there, and then it's a foam block. With, it looks like, I think it's like burlap put on top of it, some type of like fabric, or it might actually just be tea towel. It might actually just be even paper towel. Maybe he'll tell us in the comments what it was. But then washed with tons of glue and sand, tons of like this like fine sort of like, it's maybe static grass, but something like static grass, like a weave. And then the details added on top, all painted brown and then washed and dry brushed and variously just like touched up. But he did a fantastic job. So I just wanted to show this off on camera, how nice it is with these trench bricks. It's a really clever way of doing it. Instead of like making a board that you dig into, just having these modular squares that you move around on the mat means we can rearrange the trenches however we want. So very cool, and a nice backdrop for these minis. Again, just love collaborating with Matt, super talented. Love converting up his figures and then making my own. And I'm pumped for more Last War. Then my to-do list, obviously I got quite a bit done, but I'm some of this is coming out just because I'm ashamed I haven't actually worked on it. I want to make some more bad guys for Last War, so I'm going to actually repurpose some of these minis I never did paint. I'll rebase them, I think, even, for Silver Bayonet for my Spanish force as just like weird dudes. This is going to be like a Trench Crusader. And then these objective markers have been sitting unfinished for quite some time, along with my observant stuff. So I want to actually get this stuff out and done. And then I'm going to paint some new stuff for my JSA. I got my Oyoroi all based. I need to do now the basing material is dry. I need to just put some weathering powder on it so that I can get that nice brown red in there, like the rest of the army. And my cool new crazy koalas. I also wanted to, I have this Kempete and Miyamoto Musashi that I never finished too. So they're on my to-do list for this week. So getting back to some Infinity stuff, take a palette cleanser break from doing all the weird grim darkness and go for some bright colors for a minute, maybe next week. Finally, here's the stuff that's got to go. I'm making space. I have been slowly working through. There's a bunch of stuff going on, but I'll tell you guys about that in August. For the most part, I need to make space. I need to get rid of some stuff. I also need to raise some funds for the studio, and so we're getting rid of a whole bunch of Battletech stuff. I already sold off the Donegal Guards and the Comstar stuff. Doesn't mean, nothing I'm getting rid of means that I'm not going to cover these games anymore, play these games on the channel like that. It's just, there's just simply too much stuff after 8 years that I've painted, and something has to go, and that includes basically everything. Because there's also so much stuff coming up that I also need to work on. So this Battlestar from Clan Wolf is currently up for auction on eBay, as are the 2 legendary mech warriors from the new Target exclusive box set. On top of that, all of House Metallum is ready to rock and roll and go. So Slayer, my Knight Valiant, Baroness, my Errant, Red Fang, which is my Paladin, the Warden, which is Mastodon, and then finally the sword back there, the Crusader. They are all up for auction and for sale. So you can go to the link in the description and go check them out if you want. But basically, there's too much stuff on the shelves, and there's too many projects I haven't finished I need to work on. So some stuff has to go, and I need to be able to let go of things because I'm a terrible hoarder, and this is the beginning of that. So every week I'll show you more stuff that I've got up and available to get moving, that someone get their hands on if they want, that I'm sure you've seen in videos. Of course, this is my metal band themed Knight Army, which I was very proud of, but I still have an epic scale at least. And yeah, they're ready to go, along with this Clan Wolf stuff, and there'll be more stuff coming for BattleTech and for 40K next week. But for now, this is what's going to go up. So I got another 20 models painted this week. Lots more stuff on the way. And yeah, and some stuff going out the door. So big thanks for watching. We'll see you for more on the paint table next week. Till then, I'm Ash. Not boring me. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that video. There are tons of other games already recorded for you to watch. Click over to my channel page if you haven't already, and have a look through the dozens of playlists full of videos. I guarantee you'll discover a game you haven't seen played before. I put out new videos 7 days a week, and every day is themed to a different genre as I continue to explore the wider world of gaming. Of course, none of that's possible without you, the viewer, so click a like and subscribe if you'd like to stay on top of what's happening here daily. My 2 kids and I are massively grateful to be able to have the flexibility of this job so I can always maximize my time with them. If you want to support me continuing to put out this content, it's only possible because of my amazing backers on Patreon who support the studio, equipment, and model cost, as well as being how I make the bulk of my living. You can also help out by buying a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, a measuring gauge or widget from Death Ray Designs, or buying one of my games and supplements like Last Days, Gamma Wolves, and Blaster. As a way of showing my appreciation, patrons get early access to new games and supplements that I write throughout the course of the year. Huge thanks for watching, it really does help out, and happy gaming.